Hey guys, Mark here. I hope you're all doing well. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to tie a double gaucho knot. This knot is tied as demonstrated by Bruce Grant in his encyclopedia on rawhide and leather braiding. It is a very handy and nice looking knot, and it is tied in a different way than the interweave method. It is tied by building the knot as we go. It is a very simple and effective way of tying a gaucho knot. The double gaucho knot in effect is used in exactly the same way as the single gaucho knot, so as a button knot used on handles, whips, things like that. With that said, let's get started. Just for comparison, here you can see a single gaucho knot, and this is the double version. The double version has exactly twice the width of the single version. So the double gaucho knot is an appropriate name for this knot. So with that said, let's tie one. Let's take a look at the setup. So I have a mandrel here about 1 inch in diameter. I have attached a rubber band to it, and I have about 7.5 feet of paracord. I have tucked the standing end under my rubber band, and I have attached a lacing needle onto my working end. I'm going to continue by making 2 wraparounds around my mandrel. Like this. I'm now going to travel towards the left side, and this knot is made in 2 sequences, coming from right to left and from left to right. So the first sequence is going to be over one, and the next one is identical, so over one again. With that, we come to our standing end, and we repeat the same 2 sequences. So we travel alongside our standing end and go over one, then over one again. Then what we're going to do is we're going to start our next 2 sequences. So the first one is over 2, and the second one is again over 2. With that, we come to our standing end, and we travel alongside it and repeat the same 2 sequences. So over 2 and over 2 again. We then start our next 2 sequences. So the first one is under 1, then over 2. So under 1, over 2. Then again under 1. And over 2. We then again travel alongside our standing end and repeat the same sequence. So under 1, then over 2, under 1, and over 2. We then start our next 2 sequences, the first one under 2, over 2, and then the next one again, under 2, over 2. And we repeat the same 2 sequences following the standing end. So under 2, over 2. under 2, over 2. And we start the next one. Over 1, under 2, then over 2. Then again over 1, so essentially we're going over 3, then under 2, and over 2. And we again follow the standing end, doing the same sequence, so over 1, under 2, and over 2. And we start the next sequence with an over 1, so we're again essentially going over 3, then under 2, and over 2. Then start our next sequence, which is going to be an over 2, then under 2, and again over 2. Then we start our second sequence, again with an over 2, so we're essentially going over 4 chords, then under 2, and over 2. And we again follow the standing end with an over 2, under 2, and over 2. And then start the next sequence with an over 2 as well. So essentially we're going over 4, then under 2, and over 2. We're going to start our next sequence with an under 1, then over 2, under 2, and finally over 2. Then the next one, under 1, over 2, under 2, and over 2. And we again follow our standing end, traveling under 1, over 2, under 2, and over 2, then under 1, over 2, under 2, and over 2. In our last sequence, all we're going to do is a simple under 2, over 2 sequence. So under 2, over 2, under 2, over 2, under 2, over 2, under 2, and finally place your working end next to the standing end. With that, you have tied your knot, and all we need to do now is tighten it up. We start on our standing end, working our slack out and out the working end. After tying as well as tightening the knot, I often recommend that you roll the knot in order to get a flatter look. This is completely optional and a personal preference. To flatten a knot out, you take a plank, you place the knot onto it, then use a second plank in order to roll the knot. And you do this for a while until you get a nice flat knot. You can see that the knot has flattened out quite a bit, and we can go further than this. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I do not think it was particularly hard, and it does produce a nice looking and practical knot. With that said, keep on tying and see you next time.